KP's Kingdom, cooking with KP, and today a nice little special dessert, a nice healthy one at that. It is my Pear Tarte Tatin. Alright, I'm not going to use apples this time, I'm going to use some pears. They're in season and they're really nice and sweet, so let's get on with it. Right, the first thing I've got, of course, is a couple of pears. I'm going to use 3 pears in total. I'm going to slice these up using my mandolin. Now, I have peeled these, and just be really careful using a mandolin. Very easy to chop the ends of your fingers off, and it's not a pleasant feeling at all. So just nice and slowly cut those pears up. I'm cutting those at a sort of medium type slice, and as I cut them, I'm going to put them aside into another bowl just to make things a little bit easier. And I'm sort of cutting around that hard pith on the inside. I don't want that on the on my tarte tatin at all, so just keep slicing those up. And tarte tatin is a very simple, easy recipe, and it works good with any sort of firmer type fruits. Now, in that bowl I have around about 120 grams worth of caster sugar, maybe a little bit less. Normally when I make a tarte tatin I use 200 grams worth, just a little bit too sweet for me. Alright, I've got a vanilla bean pod there. I'm just going to cut that down the center and scrape out all those beautiful little black seeds. It's going to give this little tart an absolutely beautiful flavor. So all we have to simply do is just run the back of the knife straight down. Those seeds will pop out onto the knife, and put that into the sugar. And all we have to simply do is mix that around a little bit, and we're ready for our next step. Alright, so get rid of those seeds off the knife. Yes, they do stick to your finger, and if you go to lick your finger, you're going to find that incredibly spicy when it's raw like that. I'm putting all that into a cold fry pan, and that fry pan should be a pan that is safe to be used in the oven. Alright, so make sure your fry pan is able to go into the oven. Sprinkle that out nice and evenly, and I'm going to add in around about 70 grams worth of butter, and you can use unsalted butter if you want. I don't see the point. The salt actually helps bring out the flavour a little bit in this dish. Alright, so we're simply just going to put that onto a little bit of heat, melt that butter down into the sugar like we're doing right there. And if you do want to use the 200 grams, you will end up with a little bit more of a caramel type finish at the end, but this tastes just as good. So let that butter melt down into the sugar, and keep that sugar moving. We don't want it to stick to the pan at all. It's the worst thing that could happen. So just keep stirring that around and around, and it's going to help loosen those vanilla beans up and those little seeds up, and distribute them evenly throughout our mixture. Very easy to do. Now, I already have my oven sitting at 180 degrees, that magic number. So you can see this is starting to thicken up a little bit. Some of the lighter bits of the butter evaporate, and all we have to simply do now, we can switch that off. Just let it sit, and do not put your fingers in there at all. This is incredibly hot. What we're simply going to do now is start layering up our pear pieces, just like that. And we want to make sure we get a pretty even layer straight across the whole fry pan, okay? So just take your time, layer them up, just like I'm doing right there. And if you haven't tried cooking pears like this before, well, you don't know what you're missing. It is so satisfying at the end, and this is quite a rich little dessert, but it is perfect when it's served up with some nice caramel type ice cream as well. So I'm just layering all those pears out like that. I'm adding in 1 shot of Grand Marnier, right, that beautiful orange liqueur. You can use lemon juice if you want to. I just thought the orange would give it a slightly different burst of flavour. So here I've got a store-bought frozen piece of puff pastry. Let that come down to room temp, and we're simply just going to roll this out a little bit, just to make it a little bit larger and a little bit thinner than what it normally is. Alright, so we're just going to roll that out like that. You can see it expanding a little bit. It's exactly what we want, so it will fit our fry pan. Right? If you are not sure whether one sheet will fit your fry pan, do a test fit first. When it's all nice and cool, we can stretch that pastry out a little bit, lay that straight over the top of the pears, just like that. And be nice and careful, it's still pretty hot underneath. And all we're simply going to do is get this pastry, stretch it a little bit, and we're going to tuck it in under the pears. As I said, be very, very careful. That mixture underneath is still quite hot, and when sugar gets hot, it burns pretty good. I remember when I made a cream caramel once, and I was stupid enough to put my finger onto the spoon after I'd finished stirring it, and I got really badly burnt. I'm talking like 3rd degree burns. Alright, so tuck that in nice and carefully underneath. If you want to use a spatula to help tuck it in, by all means do so. Alright, so keep tucking that in like that, nice and carefully. Right, and that's going to encapsulate all of our pears, and it's going to help cook these off really nice and juicily. Alright, that's all done. That's going into the oven for around about 35 to 40 minutes. It should come out looking a little bit like that. And let that stand for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's still incredibly hot, and if things go wrong when we do our plate transfer, things could be pretty ugly. That's cooled down a little bit. And here's the first fail for our recipe today. We're going to simply just do a quick flip, nice and carefully. As if you're a regular subscriber and a regular follower of the channel, you know I've got multiple sclerosis, so for me to achieve that was pretty good. Now, we do have a little bit of stickage around the outside. That sugar has actually really gone into a gooey type substance, so I'm just going to get a nice little soft spatula, just give that a little bit of a pry like that. Now, we're going to try this once more and say a couple of prayers and make sure I get this in one hit once again. Over it goes like that, and we have pretty much got our tarte tatin on the plate. We might have 1 or 2 little pieces of pear that has stuck to the sugar mixture. Don't worry, you can scrape those off on top. It'll just be a nice little type of garnish as well. Alright, how easy was that to make? Love to see you try and make this one at home. It tastes amazing, and there's only one little ingredient that I will put on at the end, and that's a very light sprinkle of some ground cinnamon. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, hit that like button. Gives me confidence, should make you feel warm and fuzzy too. Share this video with all your friends on all platforms of social media. We're trying to get the name of KP's Kingdom out there. Hit that notifications bell to be notified every time a new video goes up. Leave a comment. I love reading and I love responding to them. I don't do desserts very often, but if you want to learn some of my desserts, well, you need to come and join the family, my family. Hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss another one of my videos again. I have to eat my Pear Tarte Tatin, and I will catch you next time.